This clip is from the Buckle Bomb Show. New episodes drop every Sunday here at Bomb Media Productions. My favorite wrestler made his return from injury this week. CM Punk apparently is all fine after a nice report that you mentioned last week on the show that it looks like he might be out for longer than originally thought. I speculated in text messages that may have been a rumor planted in there to make the surprise that much better this week. It came after a fantastic title match for the interim AEW championship between Moxley and Chris Jericho, the Lionheart. Chris Jericho. What did you think of the match? That was absolutely fantastic, bloody. That Jericho gash looked pretty nasty. Obviously, with the pulling out of the ring with Moxley was pretty gory. And then the Appreciation Society beatdown of Mox afterwards, which led into the Punk return coming down to make the save. And then, of course, the stare down and the bird given by Mox to end the show. What do you think of the end of Dynamite here?
I thought the end of Dynamite this week was, we, especially with AEW and professional wrestling, we talk a lot about unnecessary, gratuitous blood and guts, right? I feel like the amount of blood that happened within the Jericho-Moxley match was just spot on for the money. Granted, it wouldn't have been so much if it weren't for the Chris Jericho unplanned spot. I think the earring spot was exactly what Triple H and Batista wish could have happened in their no-holds-barred match at WrestleMania a couple years ago. But just the second that happened, when Jericho hit that exposed turnbuckle, I texted you and I was like, dude, I know you're delayed, but I had to give you a blood.
You did. You also spoiled Punk returning for me. I would have marked the fuck out for that. And you're like, Punk! I'm like, I'm 20 minutes behind you. But
well, that's what made me give you the blood.
But yeah, I don't mind blood. The only problem, a little bit of a problem I had, was that there was also blood to start the show. And again, I don't mind blood in wrestling, but you don't. If you do it too much, it doesn't become special anymore. So that's the one thing I think AEW's got to be careful of here. You have blood multiple times on a single show. Certainly at least once or twice a month there's blood. I want them to be a little bit more careful and picky about when they do it. This match was fine to have it in, especially the type of match that it was, and the fact that they were going for a more old school Lionheart Chris Jericho. But then, of course, the return of Punk at the end. Where do you see this Moxley feud, if you want to call it that, going? Do you think... I think we'll obviously get a hell of a match. And side note, it was nice to see Jericho and Punk interact a little bit here. Not much, but, they have some history in WWE that was, and, through podcast and Twitter barbs back and forth during Punk's hiatus. But nice to see them have a little bit of an interaction. Like to see them have, at some point, maybe an AEW feud that can incorporate, all of their history. But that's an aside, and you can bring that up too when you discuss what I want to talk about here, which is where you see Mox and Punk going in the future. Is it an all-out match?
I think we're heading towards all-out with Punk and Mox. As far as winner goes, though, man, it's so hard to decide for multiple reasons. You had Mox getting screwed out of the AEW Heavyweight Championship belt originally when he lost to Kenny Omega. And then you have Punk, who is only in this position because of an injury. I feel like this is a match perhaps Tony Khan wanted, just not right away. It was kind of a shitty hand that was dealt to them, and they had no choice but to push this match sooner than they probably originally wanted. Uh,
Maybe I think,
Punk,
and I don't mean to cut you off,
Punk.
but I think we'll get back to what you want to say. I do think not you say that. I do think Mox and Punk might have been the plan for All Out because you had Forbidden Door, and who he may have gone up against there, and then I think it would have gone to Punk and Mox after that anyway. But go ahead and continue.
Yeah, I just don't see how it'd be feasible to have Tanahashi coming in every week, though, if he were interim AEW champion. So, yeah, man, I think it's got to be Punk just for sake of injury, but then you got to worry about how much it's going to hurt Mox because Mox is, obviously right now one of your most over characters in the Blackpool Combat Club, is one of the best stables they have going. Oh, geez, man. And then to your point about him interacting with Jericho for a second there, I mean, we can go back to the NXT wannabe group chat that got brought up in court. I mean, best in the world at what I don't know. There's so many storyline potential there for Punk and Jericho in the future, but man, if this match is going to take place in All Out, like I think we're all predicting, it's going to be a bar burner. I mean, Mox can't have a bad match. I'm convinced at this point.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Mox as most people. I think he's a little too gimmicky at times, and I like a lot of what he does, but he's also sometimes he goes for the shock a little more than he needs to. I think this match with Jericho is fantastic. On the other hand, but and I think him and Punk will be even better. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We'll see. We'll see how we get there. That's the interesting part to me, is how we get there, and the story that'll be told in the meantime, because we know these two are going to tell a really good story.
You already have your story written in. The Shield were CM Punk's protectors, basically, at one point.
Yeah, if you want to reference that. Yeah.
Moxley was one of the members of the Shield that was handpicked by CM Punk. I mean, if you want to take it that route, because, obviously right now WWE is not against mentioning people that aren't in the company anymore. I don't think any things that aren't within their company. Your storyline is handpicked for you.
All right, yeah, it's all there. There's certainly a lot of different ways they can go with this. Moxley playing a little bit of the heel here, with the disrespect towards Punk, and as you see right there, flipping the bird to Punk. But that's also a little bit of that Blackpool Combat Club character, just of the whole group. They got that harder edge. You got to earn respect from them. I like the whole deal here, and I'm really excited. As a big Punk mark, I'm excited to see where it goes. All right.
Not to cut
absolutely.
you off there. I don't think that Moxie's going to be the heel in this. To be honest with you, I don't think you actually need.
No. I think he's going to be playing more of that role, but I don't think he's going to be a heel per se. I think it'll be a face v face match, but he's going to be the tweener and he's going to be the one within the match playing more of the heel role and getting the heat on Punk a little bit more in the match, because more than likely, do we know where All Out is? Is it in Chicago? Have they said yet for sure?
It's typically in Chicago. Oh God, why is it?
It typically is, but I think they hadn't announced it yet.
Yeah, no, it was big news. No, they've already announced it, but it was a press release that they released. I think it was like a month ago, where they announced that it wasn't going to be in Chicago this year. I could be wrong.
Well, let's see here. Nope. It's going to be in Chicago at the Now Arena. Yeah, then it's not going to be in the stadium. It's not going to be in the big arena. It's going to be at the Now Arena.
It's not going to be at Allstate. Yeah, maybe that's what the press release was in regards to. But yeah, at that point, you have no choice but to have Mox with more of an edge and heel
Because
tendencies to him.
Punk's not
Because
getting booed.
you can't, yeah, you can't make Punk a heel in Chicago.
No.
I mean, for the love of God, that's like trying to make Ric Flair a heel in North Carolina.
For sure.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by Bomb Media Production.